Everyone, you are all welcome to lecture number 667, and today's topic is the process of thesis writing and selection of research topic. And these lectures what I am delivering is for postgraduate research students who are involved or who are going to join, or those who have already joined first year, is for them. And I am sharing my experience. I can recall now when I joined the research some more than 40 years ago, and first day when I went to lab, research lab, and I got introduction. We were introduced with senior research scholars, and during discussion what they told me, still I remember that doing research work and writing thesis and selecting topic is a very complex task, and writing thesis is cooking, is grilling, is complex task. So at that time, what we discussed, and believe me, if there would have been any option that to pass the PhD exam by writing examination, not by writing thesis, I would have opted for exam, because I was so much disturbed when I came to know that it is a very difficult task. And then secondly, I met my supervisor, and he called the attendant and asked him that go and give 2 dozen very dirty glass apparatus, means conical flask, round bottom flask, beakers, all these to me to clean. So when I was given that work, I was little bit disturbed. The reason was that in that research lab, it is very advanced lab, attendants are there, technicians are there, sweepers are there, lot of supporting staffs are there to do all these works. And I was there as a research scholar. After my post-graduation masters, I joined the research. And to ask to wash all these dirty glass apparatus, beakers, conical flasks, I felt myself little bit humiliated. But I had no option. I did it, and then I was asked to make it dry by putting in oven, and of course by rinsing with acetone so that all the water traces will go. Then after 1-2 days time, when again I met my supervisor, he called the attendant and he signed, because everything was issued from the store, that give Khan 100 liter crude ethyl alcohol. So it was issued to me, and then he asked my supervisor, go and distill out of 100 liter, 50 liter distill it, and 50 liter go and prepare absolute alcohol. So, from crude, simply distilling is no problem. I did it, but I was not knowing about how to make it absolute. Absolute means where 99.5% alcohol, 5% is still we are getting, decimal 5, because from here it can catch water molecule. So it was distilled over calcium tube. Then I was asked to go and convert this absolute alcohol into aldehyde and ketone free alcohol. So even I was not aware of it, how to convert that alcohol into aldehyde and ketone free. I was not knowing. So all these helps were given by the senior research scholars who were working. They said, no, you just mix some amount of potassium permanganate and whatever aldehyde or ketone is there in that acetyl alcohol, it will be oxidized. And then you recover and fill in the bottle. So I did it. After some time, then I was thinking what is going on, because I was expecting that my supervisor is the professor of medicinal chemistry. His work is mainly on antioxidants, glycosides, flavonoidal glycosides. So he will discuss the issue of medicinal plants. Rather than he is asking me to do all this work which is supposed to be done by technician and attendant. Then next week when I met, he asked me, do you know about ether? I said, yeah, I know. What is the boiling point? I said, it is 37, 38 degrees centigrade. So he said, it's okay, you can go and prepare dry ether. You know how to do it? So I never heard, first time I heard about the dry ether. I was knowing only about ether. I said, sir, I don't know how to make it. He said, you go and your senior colleague will help. Then I came to lab. I said that I am given this work that I should prepare the dry ether. Then they said, okay, you take the sodium. There is one machine. And you push in that machine, it will be changed into wire. And that wire you put inside the ether flask. In 2-liter flask there was ether. And then leave it for 15-20 minutes. So if there is any chance of traces of water, it will be taken by sodium wire. And then you distill it on very mild temperature, because the ether boiling temperature is 38, 37. Anyway, that work was done. So what I want to tell you here, that first thing was that once we are joining as a research scholar, first thing is we should be patient. If we are impulsive, we are going to lose. So my supervisor, it was his methodology, or it was his style to treat to newcomers, to check his patience, whether he is impulsive, whether he is aggressive, whether he is emotional, because by that time I may go and tell him that, sir, I will not do this, it's not my work, I am PhD scholar. So that will be enough for him to say that no. So his assignment, what he gave to me about the cleaning of the beaker and conical flask, about the distillation, about the preparation of dry ether and absolute alcohol and free of aldehyde and ketone, it was all to get familiar with all the glass apparatus and all the reagents and all those chemicals. And then second is, please drastically reduce your ego. If you have lot of ego, then again it is going to harm you. So this is what I got when I joined the PhD, and that experience I am sharing with you. After that, two things are very important when we are joining as a PhD scholar or postgraduate research student. One is called, that is time management, and second one is called good planning. Good planning and time management for your process of research and thesis writing is very important. And let me quote the example here. Once Abraham Lincoln, the ex-president of United States, was called by somebody, and he was asked, President Abraham Lincoln, if you are given 60-minute time, that was for time management. If you are given 60-minute time to cut a tree, how are you going to manage your time? He replied that what I will do, I will use 40 minutes to sharpen my axe, to make it very sharp, and 20 minutes I will use to cut the tree. So it was time management, means what time it is investing in sharpening the axe. And once axe is very sharp, it will take little effort to cut the tree. If suppose axe is not very sharp, it will take lot of effort, lot of energy to cut the tree. So that is time management. And then one person, the example is the two persons, they were asked by a contractor of the forest for 8 hours work. And after 8 hours work, the contractor will go and check and he will pay. So the both of the people, they were working for 8 hours. One person was paid 40,000 naira, the other person was paid 10,000 naira. So after 1 week time, the other person, he could not resist. That we are entering in the forest, we are cutting, we are working for 8 hours, everything is same, timing is same, work is same. But I am paid only 10,000 naira and he is paid 40,000 naira. It's an injustice to me. So he went to that contractor. He asked, sir, I want to ask one question. He asked, what is that? He said that, sir, we both are working for 8 hours and my other colleague is paid 40,000 naira and I am paid 10,000 naira for 8 hour work. He said, yeah, because you are worth to that. He said, what do you mean by it? We are both of us are working for 8 hours. He said that in 8 hours time, he is cutting 4 plants. And in that 8 hours time, you are cutting 2 plants. So his work is double. And that's why he is paid double. His result is more. Within that time management of 8 hours, his result is more and double as compared to yours. Then he asked that man, that what are you doing? Because I am also sweating and with that all effort I can cut only 2 trees. He said that when I will cut 1 tree, then I will sit for 15 minutes and I will sharpen my axe and then again I will go to second one. Again when I will cut the second one, then again I will sharpen my axe and then I will go for third one. So you are not doing this? He said, no, I am just cutting without doing any sharpening. He said, that is called you are not well managed, you are not well planned. And at the same time, you should understand that once your axe is sharp, it will be effective. So with time, with less time, that is called time management. You have to get more research, more experimentation. That's why some of the students, PhD students, when they are joining within 3 years time, they will finish their research work. And some of them, they are lingering on for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Because they are not sharpening their axe. And they are not having good time management. So this is very important. Good planning and time management. So I have already given here the time management. I have already told you is very important for any PhD, postgraduate research scholar. Good planning. Planning means you have to plan your research very well. Just like planning to sharpen your axe. So you have to sharpen your IQ, scientific knowledge, skill, your lab atmosphere, everything you have to understand very well. Well planned. If you are not good in planning, if you are not good in deep thinking, it's very difficult for you to manage the time. And number 3, better result with less effort. Here you should be ready to get better result out of your experimentation. in less time, less effort. Your effort, because you are also spending, for example, whole day and night and every moment you are in the lab, and at the end you are not getting your product. So it means you are not sharpening your axe. You are missing something somewhere. Then come to research topic. For research topic, first thing is that it is 101 with your supervisor. 101 with your supervisor means the more it is discussed with supervisor, it will be good for you. Because it is better to discuss deeply, it is better to think deeply for your research topic. And first thing is that your research topic should not be very much ambitious. Your research topic should be simple. Your research topic should be relevant to your area of specialization. And in chemistry department or in all scientific institutions, supervisors are given as per the interest of the research of the student. For example, if you are organic chemist, you will be given somebody supervisor who is in organic. So both are having the same background, same interest. So it will be very easy to select the topic. And in selection of the topic, some other subheadings are there which are very important. For your research topic, first thing, think yourself. It is you have to think yourself. What is that? Is my university infrastructure is conducive to my topic? You should not overrate your institution or overrate yourself. First, once you are selecting your topic, you should be very clear. The infrastructure of your university, when I am saying infrastructure, doesn't mean concrete building. I am talking of the reagents, chemicals, glass apparatus, instrumentation, IR, UV, and electricity. Because sometimes in the lab, we need 24-hour air conditioning, frozen temperature for some of the reagents. So if suppose you are working in Nigeria, your condition, your infrastructure of your lab is different than working in Europe or in America. Because there the infrastructure and getting electricity 24-hour, all these problems are not there. So if you are having that ambitious topic, what it is applicable in Europe and America, you are going to fail. Because if suppose you need ether needs air conditioned lab where temperature should not be more than 5 to 10 degrees. Because here in Maiduguri, always the temperature is above 38 or 40. So at room temperature, your ether may be explosive, may start boiling. So, these things are very, very important to understand the infrastructure of your institution. If you are going to join your postgraduate research program at University of Maiduguri, you have to see the infrastructure of your chemistry department, the lab, the availability of reagents, chemicals, instruments, glass apparatus, etc. Then, number 2, financial burden and resources. That is second point. Once you are selecting your topic, research topic, is a very important factor that is called financial burden and resources. If you are supported by your salary, you are on leave, or you are given some scholarship, well, it is very good. Financially, you are supported. But if in case you are not supported by any organization or by university in terms of salary or scholarship, then it is self-financed. And in the case of self-finance, it is a very big financial burden to you. Because in many institutions, even including in University of Maiduguri, you have to buy all the chemicals and reagents, silica gel, lot of testing, you have to pay a lot. Simple Sifadex LS20, that adsorbent. That Sifadex LS20, if you are buying 200 gram, it may cost up to 200-300,000 naira. And some of the, if suppose you are selecting such topic, where you are aiming to do the extraction of saffron flower. Saffron flower, even if you are trying to buy, it will cost millions of naira per 200 gram. So it should be cost effective. Financial burden, every research scholar or postgraduate research student, before he is selecting the topic, must sit and think, and he should do his financial assessment, he should do his all capacity before writing any topic for the research work. And don't be submissive to your supervisor. If in case your supervisor is giving you ambitious topic, you can tell him, that's all I cannot afford. If he is saying that this plant is available in Europe, in London, or in Brazil, you go and collect. You can say that, no sir, I cannot afford. If it is available in Lagos, even you can say that it's a financial burden to me. So don't be submissive, be frank with your supervisor, and you tell your financial burden, your financial resources. It's very important while you are discussing to select the topic. And number 3, do I need several co-workers? That is also one point, third one. Once you are starting any research work, postgraduate research work, either it is MSc research work or PhD research work. Especially I am talking here MSc and PhD research work. Sometimes if you have written the topic, the phytochemical screening and biological activity of this plant. So phytochemical screening is done by you, and now you need some pharmacologist to do its biological activity. So you need the co-workers. You need some other people also to join with you. You need technician, you need pharmacologist. So that thing also you have to think while you are writing your topic. If suppose you are not in position to get pharmacologist or to get any bacteriologist, any other department to help you, then you make more simple your topic. Just only phytochemical screening. No need to write the biological activity because you are not going to get. So once you are writing your topic, you have to see your surrounding, that it is possible to get all pharmacologists or urologists or nephrologists. So many other type of specializations are there, whether you are getting or not. Microbiology people you are getting or not. That is also very important for students while you are planning for your research topic. Number 4, keep your thesis topic simple. My conclusion is, as much as possible, follow simplicity. As much as possible. It should be scientific, it should be very good topic, but it should be simple. Simple in the sense where you can see all possibilities, finance, infrastructure, co-workers, and availability of so many other factors, diversification, all factors are there. And here 3 are subheadings. One is feasible. Your topic, what you are selecting, will it be feasible in Maiduguri or in Nigeria or not? That you have to discuss with your supervisor. It can be a very ambitious topic, very complex, complicated topic with lot of instrumentation. Will it be feasible? Will it be possible to carry out? So you have to think deeply and discuss deeply with your supervisor while selecting for research topic. Be precise. Be precise. It should not be very lengthy, thousands of pages, no. Just be precise to your experimental work, and within that, you just try to limit yourself. For example, in my case, if PhD students are coming, my assignment is as a topic, go and isolate and purify any compound. If it is new and establish the structure, I will certify you for your PhD work. Because in medicinal chemistry or organic chemistry, if someone is able to purify the organic compound and establish the structure, elucidate the structure, is enough for his PhD work. No need for a lot of pharmacology to simplify and be precise. And number C is your work must be original. Plagiarism is not allowed. What you have given your idea to your supervisor, or what you are aiming, or whatever is your objective, it should not be copied. It should be original. That is very important. Sometimes what the student they will do, when supervisor will ask, go and find out topic yourself. They will go to research lab, or they will go to library, and they will go through different type of research publications or theses and then copy down. That is wrong. Your topic should be original work, and it should not be copied from somewhere. If it is copied, it is plagiarism. And if someone has done and you are copying that one, is wrong. It must be your original work. So this is what I have discussed about this section, that selecting an area to postgraduate topic, how to select your topic, and what are the problems you are facing in writing the PhD thesis. So with this I will stop today, and I will be discussing all these lectures are for postgraduate research students, and I am sharing my experience with my incoming new postgraduate students, and I am going to deliver some more lectures about aim and objectives, and about methodology, how to write the introduction, and then literature review. Lot of things I am going to discuss one by one, and in that discussion mainly I am going to share my 45 to 50 years research experience as a PhD supervisor, as a MSc supervisor. So with this, once again, thank you very much for watching the lecture.